Greetings and welcome once again to this week's edition of Mzansi Fundiz. I am Mark Haskins. Once again, I have the privilege of standing in for Lekoko, and we'll be dissecting and delving into exactly how the final week of the World Cup went down, the final weekend, I should say, and we'll be looking forward to what is our bread and butter, the upcoming Betway Premiership season, that and more coming up on Mzansi Fundiz. Make sure you do not move.
Mzansi Fundiz, sponsored by Sunbet.
Welcome to this week's edition of Mzansi Fundiz. Today we've got a full house of esteemed guests, the guys who know it all and will give us their educated opinions. It is the end of the global spectacle and we are headed into what is going to be the 26-27 season. So a lot to get through. So gentlemen, Essie, Lufuno, Owen, welcome. Always good to be in your company.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
So let's get straight into it because we don't have a lot of time. Essie, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah.
The World Cup is done. Success or failure? 11-year process.
11-year process, 10 years process to say, let's get the players to gel, let's identify the players. Like I'm saying, you take Bruce to AFCON, you've already lost the World Cup. Because of when are you going to start preparing? Give a coach that will take us for the next 4 years. To start now, make a mistake, get knocked out, keep the same players, you go.
Are you talking about the 10-year, 11-year plan? The Madala started the plan 5 years
started already,
isn't it?
Yeah.
So must hand over something.
Yeah. Madala has got no winning formula, has got no winning plan. He doesn't know how to win. He doesn't know how to score the goal. We pray to Jesus Christ to score. No, we don't want that. We want I always say, Mark, when you watch Sundowns, I will tell you that Sundown is going to score in the next 5 minutes. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a sangkom. But I can see that Sundown is going to score. When Chiefs is going to frustrate Pirates, I can see, hey, we're not going to win today. We don't know what Bafana is going to do. So now we need somebody that will just take those bones and put them together. And we are there. We've got a team. We've got players.
Okay, but I hear you. Can we at least give him credit for the work he's done?
Well, others will give credit. I haven't seen. I don't give credit. What has he won?
Let's give him credit from where he got us.
For an AFCON.
But one thing that I've realized, Mark and Tech, looking at the World Cup, looking at a lot of success in the national team, it's at home. You look at the teams that does well. Look at their coaches, where they come from. By the way, there's no coach that is a foreigner that has won the World Cup before.
Yeah.
Has never happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Even when you look at the AFCON, it's
really excited to announce that together
won the AFCON. But if you look at the guys that are becoming successful even in AFCON now, Mzansi has invested in football.
Absolutely. What must he do to prevent? Right now we are exporting coaches now. We're talking Mangoba going there. We're talking Steve Barker. We're talking Fadlu Davis. We are Rulani. We are exporting. We are ready. Bradley Cannell. Bradley McCarthy. We are exporting coaches. So now what is wrong with us? Bring all those coaches. All those are South Africans, by the way. Bring them back now to formulate the Bafana. We are done.
But before you get into that, you need to fix your federation. Your federation is all over the place. So once you fix that, if you look at the Spanish Federation, they've been holding it out. And the consistency of the 11 years that we are talking about, it's not by fluke. If the federation stuck to their guns.
Well, the federation is changing now in September. We've got 1 month, we've got new team.
But what Essie is saying is very critical, very important. The current holders of the World Cup in women is Spain. The current holders in men is Spain. These are also the European champions. So they actually completed football if you look at the federation itself. So that is very important to fix your home, to make sure that before you can put people in place, your federation must be right.
In that conversation, Talfuna, when we also speak of the federation, you look at SAFA. SAFA has its own scouts, just like any other federation. What happens to the conversation that we had in the previous week when we said you've got a proper DNA print in Tebo Mokoena that moved from all the development phases into the first team? We need to keep that consistency going with these young boys that we have in the under-20 squad.
That's exactly what Spain did.
Exactly.
They moved him from under 15, under 17, under 19, under 21, under 23, up until the national team. And that's what you see with Tebo Mokoena. But the problem is moving along.
Is that the blueprint is there. We don't need to reinvent the
No.
We need to just follow global standards. The blueprint is there for us to just do the right.
Mark, sorry, Brother Funo, what we always said is that if you coach a national team, You're not bringing tactics. You are managing the culture of that particular country. Like we said, the blueprint is there. We need somebody to manage the players and remind them what South Africa is made of, and let's go and show the world. We nearly did it.
I just want to ask a question here on the panel. The goal that Spain scored, what do you make of that goal? The first goal they scored.
You're talking in the final?
Yeah. No, in the final. Look, look, for me, it's
50-50.
It's 50-50.
Yeah,
it's a 50-50.
That's a goal for me.
Yeah,
it's a 50-50.
You can,
it doesn't matter now. They won the World Cup.
But then it brings up to the question that you asked in terms of what do you make of the World Cup? When you look at the scope of what you always complain about consistently to say officiating has been...
I think
no, you're right. No, there you're right.
You can't speak only good about the World Cup. You can also look at, when you look at the refereeing, how the VAR was implemented, there was a lot of things that could have been done better. Yes.
But we talked about it.
Consistency was the problem.
But what is a tournament without a controversy? A tournament must be a tournament with controversy.
Unfortunately, me and Bralux, we work in that game, right, in the final. And we were keeping saying, it's the same problem that Sundowns and Pirates have. Because of their ball players, they believe in 40,000 passes before they score. So now, if the
7 changes, it should tell you that game is a dead rubber. In a World Cup, show me any team in a serious competition in the World Cup.
I've always said,
for me, that game, the teams have been knocked out of the competition. They are going home. They're just playing for the sake of playing that they have a bronze. Who remembers the third person in anything? For me, I just said Mbappe scored 2 goals. It should not be counted because the most difficult game is the final, and everybody knows that.
Because you want Messi.
No, it's not about that. I'm just saying FIFA must look at that because for me, it's very much factual. Because if you go to the final, can you make 7 changes in the final?
No.
The reason why you can't, because it's a serious game. This other one, you're giving all these players that have never played, let them have a run. So that game already is lost. They already lost the appetite.
You are brewing. Let's park this one, guys, because clearly we're not going to get a consensus here. Now, we're going to come back to local matters now. When you look at global football, World Cup is done and dusted. It was beautiful. I think it was one of the best ever in terms of the football played. But now it's back to the bread and butter of football. Chiefs, Pirates, they're on their respective tours. What are your thoughts about how that has gone? Do you have an opinion of, do we read into it at all? Or is it just, okay, no, it's preparation. We don't really think too much about it.
I'm glad this time around, the preseason happened during the World Cup. There's not much noise on the coaches and the players. They are able to focus on their work.
Yeah.
And, which is the preseason. It's just about, conditioning and working on the technical part of the game, and the coach get to know its own player, especially for Kaiser Chiefs when they have a new coach. For me, you don't have to read much in what you see in the preseason. It's about fitness, it's about players getting to know each other, it's about building the team. It's about strategies. It's nothing much. For me, the real business will start when the 1st of August. The Betway Premiership start.
Are you happy with how that has gone when you look at the results coming through? Is there anything to read into that, this?
Mark, I think holistically, let's look at all the teams in the PSL. When you look at the log itself, I think our teams have caught up, to be honest with you. You look at what's happening in Durban in terms of their preseason as well. You move away, you go to Limpopo. You look at all the tournaments these guys are doing. As much as they are not out of the country, they're still within the country. They are still pushing and saying, you know what, we want to find ourselves at least competing in this league. And for me, I say kudos to the teams in terms of what their preparations has been for the preseason, the whole entire preseason. For one, there's a tournament that's playing right now, Skukuna and the Makesi guys, Venda
Football Club.
Venda Football Club. And you look at that whole entire thing. It also gives young opportunity. I mean, Venda Football Club, for one, we know they develop good players, for one.
Yeah.
They're playing against PSL teams, and they get to have an opportunity to bring those players in so that we can see them come the beginning of the season. So I'm saying to all these teams, I'm giving them a thumbs up to say, as much as we are looking at Kaiser Chiefs, Sundowns, Pirates, there's other teams in the league that are saying, we are here as well, and we need to stake our claim. And also, I have to applaud Kaiser Chiefs in terms of what they've done throughout the whole entire, from the last season to this season. They've managed themselves to get into a position to say, we have now found a coach that I look at and I say kudos to him, because when I look at his profile and I look at what he's doing with the team, I think we're going to see something interesting from a Kaiser Chiefs point of view.
Yeah, I agree with I agree with Lofuno. I'm sorry, with Brother SC regarding Kaiser Chiefs. There's no need for Kaiser Chiefs to be down there competing with mediocrity now. They must be competing with Pirates and Sundowns, because Sundowns and Pirates, remember, they played in the World Cup, and the players are tired. They've never rested. You can take that for granted. It's real. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to fare. On the other hand, Chiefs, towards the end of the season, they were starting to gel.
Yeah.
You could see that this is Chiefs that is going to be dangerous next season. And they started things early. The coach arrived early. We are in for a big surprise this season. I think we're not going to see a dominance from one team. I think all 4 trophies will be shared among 4 teams this season in the PSL. It's going to be very stressful.
And I'm glad Essie brings in the point, because yes, we'll always speak about Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns. They'll always be the talking point. So when you look at in terms of how the preparations have gone, we've got so many KZN teams now. KZN is really pushing.
They're dominating.
They're dominating.
Because if you look at Flipper's coin, in Gauteng, how many teams are left with 3? You've got Kaiser Chiefs, you've got Sundowns, you've got Pirates. And that's all about. That's all. That's it.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
I didn't look at it that way.
They're only using Gauteng facilities.
Wow. For real?
Yes, they're using facilities here.
Yeah.
The biggest province with more teams is KZN. And you have Limpopo that has 2. That's Polokwane City and Sekhukhune.
Sekhukhune as
You
well.
don't know where Marumo Gallants will play. Either they're going back to Limpopo, or they're going to Pretoria, or they're going to Bloemfontein. You don't know. But in essence,
actually left Bloemfontein.
yeah, exactly. So you don't know where they're going to base themselves. But in essence, you look at it, Gauteng has got only 3 big teams. The rest of the team are actually outside. I mean, you look at KZN, they keep promoting teams in.
And so what's our expectation, Milford, Kruger? What's the expectation?
Well, Kruger, it's in Mpumalanga, which have
Yeah.
2 now with TS Galaxy.
Yeah. So what's the expectation in terms of how they fare this season?
Look, the PSL is very difficult. I looked at this other team, we call it ATM, the one that they just left. Orbit, we call them ATM. They were just donating and donating and donating. PSL is very difficult. And from face value, you can think that you can go in there with the same players that promoted you and you do well. It's extremely difficult. You need to reinforce, you need to get proper players. Some of the players don't have to be of the highest quality, but you need to get players that are used to playing the PSL.
Yeah, the experience.
The experience that can hold you up to get to 30-point minimum. And 30 point is not an easy feat to get in the PSL. It's very difficult. Yeah. So for me, these 2 teams will really have to work very hard in terms of how they reinforce their team, in terms of how they start the league. Because if you start well and you collect early, by the time the team figured you out, you're already sitting on 20 points, 21 points. You are basically looking for 8 points to survive.
Durban City was a prime example of how that went. We'll come back and discuss that a bit more. We'll delve into exactly what the expectations are and how we see the 26-27 season of our Betway Premiership panning out. Stay tuned. Mzansi Fundiz.
Mzansi Fundiz, sponsored by Sunbet.
Well, welcome back to Mzansi Fundiz. We're still discussing the Betway Premiership and what we can look forward to in the 26-27 season. Now, gentlemen, it's all about the transfer window right now. We know teams are fully invested in their pre-seasons, but the transfer window is still going to be open for a while yet. When we look especially at your Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, are you satisfied with how they've handled the window and what they've done in terms of players coming in, players going out? I'll start with you, Lufuno.
Yeah, look, I'll actually, fix my eye at Kaiser Chiefs. I think so far what I've seen that I think they're not rushing into getting the players, because they currently confirmed only 3 players that you can look at. I think they looked at the goalkeeping department, which I had a problem with. I think they got a guy that has proven himself as Sekhukhune last season, a player that was knocking into the Bafana team. So they've got Lina. For me, I think is a good addition into that department. Personally, I thought that Kaiser Chiefs needed to reinforce that, and more so having a foreign player taking the spot and not playing. I was not happy about that. And you could see that Ntwari looks like he's out, he's going to Kruger, and Lena comes into that area. For me, I'll give them a 9 out of 10 into that department in terms of reinforcement. You look at the defense, Mloisane, again, they went straight for experience. He's done well for Stellenbosch. He was a leader at Stellenbosch. He's a captain as well. Sometimes
team player as well.
Yeah, he was a team player. He's a guy that was a national team player. Bafana as well, knocking into that. Again, there for me, after them losing Aiden, then you know that you have to expect Dotley to come back. Basically, for me, he looks like a new player because they never played the whole season. I think defensively, they have recruited well. Maybe they need to reinforce for left back. I think they need to get a proper cover for Bradley Cross at left back. I think in that area, they will be done and sorted. Now, they've also announced the guy from Tanzania, a CDM. You know, it's very difficult. And I had my contacts spoke to Remy in Tanzania. He says to me, look, Kaiser Chiefs has got themselves a very good player. I had even Cedric Kaze was interviewed on Metro FM. He says he's a technically gifted player, fit and ready. Kaiser Chiefs have basically got themselves a good CDM, but time will tell.
You happy with how they?
Well, so far, but they're not done. But they're not done. They're not done. They need to get at least a minimum of 5 players to reinforce. They finished third, so they need to be seen, bringing a little bit more quality. My only worry is the rumor that Glody Lilepo, Mr. AI, he's leaving. So that they need to find a suitable replacement because this guy had goals. He was a winger, but had goals. He was a top goal scorer.
Is that not where Langalitle Pili comes?
Well, you need a proper replacement, quality for quality, in that space.
Okay.
For me, Mark is different. It's about losing players. I was looking forward to see Ribeiro coming back to Sundowns. I just saw a glimpse of him, what he gave us in the first season, and I was watching him more. He killed Pirates, and I didn't see him. I was happy he was coming back just to see football, but he's not coming. Peter Sholulile, we don't know where he's going. Tseho Fasamabasa, also not. So these are all the strikers that we were looking forward to see. And also with Lilepo.
Bradley Hobler in that conversation.
Exactly. So now I'm worried what is going to happen because of our problem in South Africa, Mark, is always the strikers. And now we've got 4 strikers or 5 in limbo that we don't know where they're going. So that's my worry for next season.
And you have to add, for me, someone I still don't understand why he's not attached, but Tsehovatso Mabasa.
Correct.
When you're speaking about strikers.
Look, I heard that Pyramid might be calling. Rulani has been unveiled in Pyramid. He knows Tsehofatso very well. He knows Shalulile very well. I heard that there's a rumor that they might pop up in Egypt.
See, I love the fact that we're speaking now and Africa's become almost a global community. We're not them and us and because now our coaches are going across.
One big family.
Players are going, and it's a good thing for African football right now. That, we're looking at, we're bringing in a player from Tanzania. Our players are now looking to go
to Tanzania,
going to Egypt or, whatever the case may be. We get players in Tripoli, so that's a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. I mean, you still have Fagila K in the north.
It's in Egypt.
He's doing well. He had a good season in the previous season. Not only that alone. You speak about the coaches as well. Fatlu Davis, what he's done. On this continent alone, it's something else what he did at Simba. I think when we look at Steve Barker in terms of how far Simba is right now, it's all because of what Fatlu has done before. So I think when you look at that alone, it tells you that we're moving in the right direction in terms of what we're talking in terms of.
Eric Tinkler going to Ghana.
Yeah, exactly.
We're exporting coaches.
Not going to just any team.
Exactly. Big team.
They want to come back into the fold in the CAF Champions League space as well. They want to contest as well. So when you're looking at that, it tells you that we are now opening up all these avenues for our coaches, our players to find themselves in this thing. But for me, I'm bringing it back home to say I'm looking at a steady team. I'm looking in terms of what Gavin Hunt is trying to do in the team. 18 changes that are there. Omega Mtaga has left, has gone to Amazulu.
It's a big loss for me.
Big loss for me when I look at it.
It's a big loss.
Plus Mtian as well. So
big loss.
But he's got reinforcements as well. When you look at the team as well, you know, I think he's got Terence Mashiko as well coming back to the team, going to Stellis as well. So when you look at that left back position from Daka, who is the question mark that was raised, he's closed it enough. Mtian as well in the midfield of the park, he has left. He's got players that he's trying to put into that position. So for me, I think when I look at Stellis, I'm asking myself questions that, what is Gavin Hunt trying to cook here?
Yeah.
You look at his body in a goalkeeper that has come from New Zealand, you know, that tells you that he's looking at bigger things. Stellis are looking at bigger things.
He's pull a Pili move, that would be massive. And a big loss for Stellis.
But how do you feel about George Montclo? You speak about a Stellis.
Exactly.
Is George Montlo
for me,
value?
For me, if he stay injury free, for me, I still believe that guy has got something to give. You know, sometimes playing for big teams like Kaiser Chiefs, Sundown Pirates, a lot of players really don't come out of their shell. I mean, look at Dupreez. When he was at Stellis, he was superb. And at Kaiser Chiefs, 6 and 7s and misses clear-cut chances. And if he goes back to Stellis, I would love to see what he can offer Stellis. Because there are talks that there might be an exchange.
A swap.
Pili coming.
I think it might work because of the type of football that Gavin likes going wide and putting in crosses. I think that's a good move for him if it happens, for me, when I look at it. But then again, I also have to look at Sundowns as well, because hey, I'm at home and I'm there. I think the one key thing that Cardoso has done in this preseason for me is to say, bring back all my players, let me see them for myself, because he's not had a preseason with the team.
There's not.
And all these players, every time he gets there, they're not there. So this time around, he said, no, come through. Let's go to Austria and let's see what happens. But for me, the biggest one has to be Cash. Bringing back Cash, I think. Van Veek. You know, he scored in the preseason game.
Big one.
So when I look at that, I still have complaints about the goalkeeping department as well as you. You know, I think Dennis Onyango for me needs to vacate that seat.
But what do you call it? Come back.
That's why
Goss
is there as well.
Goss is back. For me, it doesn't make sense for Sundowns not to keep Goss, you know, as a second goalkeeper for Sundowns. By a miles, he's a far better goalkeeper than what you have.
Peterson.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, let's park it there. There's a lot to still get through because there's a lot happening in the transfer window. We know the transfer deadline only closes in September, so still a lot can happen in this space. We'll be back to discuss that and more on Mzansi Fundiz.
Mzansi style. Watch us only on SABC.
Well, we continue the transfer talk on Mzansi Fundiz. Guys, we were just before the break discussing Sundowns. One big talking point that's come out of Klurkop has been the fact that the man who did the business for us at the World Cup is, quote unquote,
he can't make the cut.
He's free to leave. If there's an offer on the table, it's being looked at. How do you make sense of that, SC? I
don't make sense of it. Even prior to the World Cup, I remember in one of the Twitter spaces, on the Sundowns spaces, I said, I wish Maseko to have the best World Cup. And he did that for me. And the reason I was saying that, because Sundowns doesn't have an outlet that's like him. You know, we could talk about your Matthews, we could talk about your Letlakus, whom also has a question mark. You know? So when you say Maseko can go, it begs the question for me to say, do you have that type of profile?
Yeah, you do. See, you just signed a player from Pirates. He hasn't played. He's going to have a preseason for the first time as well. Saleng. He needs a preseason. He needs to get the legs going again.
Two different players.
There's a bit of opportunity.
Where is he going to play?
In that state.
Where is he going to play?
You say that because you have vested interest in that state.
No, but look, Maseko is not a bad player.
No, he's the best player. For you don't have that player.
You know, for Kaiser Chiefs, you know, as supporters, we are used to, you know, taking something from Sundowns. Let them, if they can set him free or a small fee, surely Maseko deserves to play football. I mean, the boy went to Cyprus and reinvented himself, and Hugo Bros believed in him, and he was one of our best players in the World World Cup. It will be sad for me coming from the World Cup and you don't have a team to play for.
Absolutely.
For me, I just say Sundowns. We don't want to see Maseko again going into depression stuff and whatnot. It's not good for players.
You're saying do the right thing.
Yeah, do the right. Let them. If they can't use him, let them. Let him free.
Know that the boy wishes is to go
overseas. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think.
And again, I think conversation.
I think if he's going to Cyprus and Kaiser Chiefs knocks, I can tell he's going to choose Kaiser Chiefs.
Well, to be quite honest, looking at football point of view, Mark, I would be happy for him to go to Chiefs. Because of really in Sundowns, he can't play there. Pirates, you've got Meremi that has to prove something. He's not going to be able to play there. So Chiefs really will be a good team because of Issa, for me, was the best player for Bafana, to be quite honest. Not that he scored. Before he could even score, the previous match, before the third one in the roundup, and I could see that this boy, if he can start, is going to do something, and he did exactly that. So he deserves a team.
I think Sundowns still has a lot to do in the transfer market. There's a lot of players that are going to leave that team, to be honest with you. You still have to
leave on
and the big fish.
Leave outright. That's the question, though.
What about the big fish?
On loan, or are they going to leave outright, as in?
Well, it depends, because you know that Sundowns doesn't like boosting other teams. So chances are they're going to keep them on loan and give them a contract that has a clause that says you can't play when they're playing against them. So that's a fact.
We must remove that clause this season. This season, we must remove that. We must remove that. I didn't say for Sundowns. I said in its entirety. It doesn't matter who. Remove the clause.
Must keep quiet.
What do you mean now?
Orbit won you the league.
I am saying, Mark, I just said this season. Period. Yeah, period. Whatever team, whoever, let's remove that clause because of really it's unfair for players.
Yeah,
I think it's crazy, to be quite honest, that you tell the player not to play and it's allowed by law. You know, I think it's crazy.
So he can kill other teams.
You know what?
But not us. You saw the play.
You know what was the worst with that rule? Sundowns will play a very weak super sport when they still in existence. Chiefs and Pirates play a very strong super sport because they had about 6 players that they loaned them to super sport, but they can't play against Sundowns.
Yes.
For me, that rule is just unfair in terms of...
It's tantamount to match fixing.
You know what I love about that rule? Sundowns didn't hide it, and then we have teams that are hiding it, like Pirates when they play.
Yeah, whether you hide it or you're not hiding it, we're scrapping it.
All the key players have finished. You asking yourself questions.
Keep them from where?
Mark, whether we hide it, Mark, or we open it, let's grab that thing. No, let's relook it.
Let the strongest teams always be on the field. That's what's important.
Yeah, exactly.
Of competition.
Exactly.
But okay, let's kind of wrap up the transfer conversation. Who's won the window at this point right now? Who do you feel, if you had to choose one team, who's done the best business at this point in the window right now?
I think it's Pirates. I think Pirates has got good players this season. But yeah, you know, Sundowns, they go outside. And they always bring these unknown players that come here and mesmerize us.
They haven't started.
Yeah, so
thank you.
That is so far from where we are right now. In your question, Mark, Pirates has done well more than anyone.
Agreed?
Yeah.
I actually disagree. I'm still going to go back to Kaiser Chiefs. Their biggest signing was the coach. I think Cruz is something else. If you look at what he has done, I mean, a guy that was leading the Federation of Morocco, that is no fluke. They've brought in somebody who's going to stabilize the team from where they were the previous season. So when I look at that, irrespective of the players that have been signed, Thabo Maloisane for one, if you look at that centre-back pairing, they're going to have one of the best centre-back pairings. If Dotley comes back and they've got Maloisane in there, that tells you that solidly they've got a good thing going. If you look at what Peterson did on the polls, it tells you that Kaiser Chiefs are going to move in a good direction. So for me, I look at that and I say, I think when I look at Kaiser Chiefs in terms of the signings, they've done well. And so far, again, we cannot conclude that conversation and say who's done better. We are here talking about Sundowns. We know for a fact that Sundowns is going to surprise us and bring us somebody else who's going to shock us.
Look,
we're talking now.
Pirates have done early transfer. They went to the business, get sorted out before they go to preseason.
Yeah.
That gives them an edge in terms of integrating new players.
Yeah.
For me, Mutiane is a player to watch.
Big time.
It's a player to watch. I think they got a good addition in their team. I think they went straight hard. The player that might surprise a lot of people is the guy they got from Sweden, former Company Lungu.
Yeah.
For me, it's a player to watch because that guy, I think, for me, he's got a lot to give Pirates. Pirates lacked the finisher, somebody that can play either as a 9 or winger. And remember, they have to replace Rele. The impact that Rele has in that team, they need to sign a little bit more to make sure that they galvanize, they're strong in that area.
Well, okay. Certainly, Company Lungu showed himself, especially in that game against Sundowns, that big score last season. But before we run out of time, we have matches coming up this weekend. How seriously are we taking the Toyota Cup? How much value do we put on this against a Scotland FC? I'm going to start with Owen.
Well, Mark, if you start with me, I thought you were going to start with the coach himself. But to be quite, it's important for Chiefs to have an opportunity to play sort of a competitive match, so to speak, something to play for. Simba is not just a team; it's a big team in Zim. I think it's an opportunity for them to show up. Scotland FC with Kama Piliat there, as well as Nurush Musona. Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting to watch those two. So for me, I think it's a good thing. It's a good test for them.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they're moving in the right direction, to be honest with you. But we've seen this season in, season out. But for me, the biggest thing, I think we undermine playing teams in the continent. When you look at Kaiser Chiefs' campaign that's coming up, they're going to go into a confederation cup,
yeah.
You know, you look at Scotland as well. They have prelims to play, so they still have to contest. They don't know who's going to be in their group. So